What up, everybody? It's Charlie and I'm back. So I am officially 1 week out from surgery. Feels crazy and surreal, but I'm so freaking excited. So in this week before surgery, I've been trying to figure out what I wanted to make this video about. And the thing I realized I most want to talk about is the support that I've had along the way to get to this point. Not a lot of the rest of my family is supportive, but specifically for me, I really needed the support of my partners. I should also mention I'm polyamorous, so I do have 2 partners, Beth and Gwyneth, and it's been a game changer to have them support me along the way. So yeah, I'll get started. So the first thing I needed from my partners was for them to listen. I talked to them about every sort of configuration of bottom surgery that exists out there. I've talked about what I didn't want, what I did want, size and shape, and what anatomical parts I wanted to keep or get rid of, or how I wanted to get rid of them, or how I wanted to keep them, and basically all of these questions that come up with bottom surgery. And the biggest thing I've appreciated that they've done is they haven't tried to sway me in any direction. They've just listened to the things I had to say without their first thought being, how will it affect me? Because I think that happens to a lot of partners. You think like, how will this work for me and the way I like to be intimate, or like the way I see myself as a lesbian or a gay person, or however you choose to identify. Sometimes people feel like it's a direct threat to that. But I'm thankful that my partners didn't make it about that. They focused more on supporting me in whatever choices I was making for my body. And I know that they processed those other things on their own, or in therapy, or with people that I had already approved them to talk about my bottom surgery with. So that was just really helpful for them to not project onto me and to let me figure it out for myself and be supportive in that. Not just be like, figure it out on your own, but they were there through the process, but still supportively. The second thing is they gave me space to consider bottom surgery as a non-binary person in particular. They basically reminded me that my goal is not to be cis. That cis anatomy and cis beauty standards and cis expectations for bottom surgery are not my own. In the way that me, like everybody else, grew up in white supremacy and have to consciously reject that, I feel the same about cis privilege, or the way that cis people interact with me as a trans person. And what I've realized is that my ideals are really just not theirs. And I know some binary trans people feel different, but for me in particular, I needed that freedom to figure out what bottom surgery looks like for me. And that took breaking it down to the individual parts and figuring out step by step. I want this. I don't want this. I would consider this, and different things like that to get to the final results I'm looking for. My goals have been to be comfortable in my body with the surgical techniques that are available to me, with the parameters that I'm looking for, like the specific parts that I wanted or didn't want. I know taking that perspective has helped me arrive to a configuration that I don't often see in the trans community. And I don't know if that's just because people are binary trans, or if some non-binary people are just looking for those things. But for me in particular, I needed the freedom to separate those things out and figure out what's authentic to me. And I'm glad that my partners helped me along that journey. So on top of that, my partners have also remembered and reminded me of things that I've been consistent about. Like I said, I've talked to them about a lot of different surgeries and configurations and things I want from surgery. And sometimes it feels like I'm just flip-flopping all over the place and don't know what I'm doing, and did I decide this already or not? Why don't I like that? Or do I? What's going on? I forget things a lot. So it was very helpful when my partner stepped in to be like, this is what you said before, or this was your reasoning before, has that changed? Or they repeat back to me what I said before. This is different than them like projecting their feelings onto me. This was them specifically saying the things back to me that I had said to them. And so I really found that helpful for them to like give my own perspective back to me versus trying to like add something to that. I think that sort of echoing has helped me to learn to trust myself more. They reminded me of the things that I was consistent about, and I learned to trust that me being consistent about something means that I really want it. And it means that I'm not just making this up in the moment, but that there's a long history of me saying these things and wanting these things and moving towards these things, even if back then I wasn't able to do it, or like my mind changed about some things, or all of the journey that I've gone through. I've been consistent about some things, and I've chosen to move forward in surgery based on that consistency. So I appreciate my partners kind of sparking it. The other thing that has been logistically helpful is that Beth has sat in on pretty much all of my consults and follow-up calls and pre-surgery stuff. So I'm not the only one trying to remember everything, or like I take notes too, but we can compare notes and we sometimes learn different things or like have remembered different things. So it's been really good to have like a second set of eyes and ears to help me remember everything that's going on. Beth has also used that information to make like a timeline of everything and like a grocery list of what we need for after surgery, which I know most of that is what the doctor provided, but seeing it all in one place has been really helpful for me. I should also mention that Beth is a social worker, so she's like really good at this paperwork and stuff. But I think that she's used that skill to help me learn to advocate for myself better. What I've learned in this surgery space is that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I had to learn to be that squeaky wheel. Growing up, I always kind of stepped back and let people come to me. But when it comes to this surgery in particular, I had to step up and go to them. Like I was calling to say, hey, did you get my paperwork? Hey, can you send me the next paperwork? I emailed my surgeon like 100 questions, and I stuck with it until I got the answers that I wanted. Or even if it's not the answers that I wanted, I got some answer so I could make an educated decision based on that information. If it wasn't for Beth helping me to advocate for myself and encouraging that in me, I don't think I would feel as confident or as like in control of my life and how I'm moving forward in this process. So yeah, those are the things that my partners have helped me with and supported me through as I've gotten to this point of 1 week before surgery. I hope this has been helpful to you and to your partners. The other thing I wanted to mention is that next week I have pre-recorded something, so you'll still get a video, but I'm not gonna talk about surgery stuff until I get all my footage like together and edited. So it's coming, but stay tuned. Like and subscribe so that you can see when that stuff comes out. And I'll see you guys next week. Deuce.